Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. What would you say, what would be your reaction if I were to tell you that Trump and the United States of America are neutral in the Ukraine conflict? I think you would say, Emil, you are an imbecile. You're a baboon. You're a weasel. You're a bottom feeder. Because that's what I would be if I were to say that. But what if Donald Trump says, I'm actually neutral in the war in Ukraine? Remember, just because you say you are, it doesn't mean that you are. All right? And this is exactly what Trump said. Trump says he's neutral on Ukraine conflict. The US president has said he wants to get the US out of the mess. Well, there's many ways to get yourself out of a mess. It's true. There's many ways. I have 5 articles ready to prove to you that obviously the United States of America is not neutral. Trump is not neutral. On the contrary, they are on the warring side against Russia. The other side. And they are, I would say, the root cause of Ukraine war. Oh, you didn't like that? I will make my point. So, Trump can solve the problem very easily. Very easily. If he's neutral, he can solve the problem in a second. No more arming, if he's neutral, no more arming this side, no more US generals planning, organizing attacks on Russia, defending, no more supporting one side. I'm out. See you never. But he's not doing that. He's doing the opposite. And the opposite is war is peace. Peace is war. Remember? The ministry of truth and so on. So he's doing the opposite. He arms one side, but he's neutral, to defend itself against the other one, but he's neutral. But he organized, and the Russians entered in Ukraine because of me, but I'm neutral. All right, let's read this baboon here. Russia Today. Trump says he's neutral on Ukraine. He wants out of the mess. Well, sometimes you get things out of the mess by eliminating the mess. You go over there, everybody, and you're alone. Solve the problem. Or pick them up with ice and send them abroad. Boom. That's it. No more diversity here. You solve the problem. You don't have these guys with flag and the other guys with flags rooting for other countries from across the fucking Atlantic. No. You like that? Go over there. It doesn't mean you don't have free speech, but you have problems now. You have problems because you allow them to be here. Solve the problem in Ukraine? Very easy. Walk away. Why don't you walk away? Oh, no, I mean, it's more complicated than that. It is, but you're not neutral. You're not neutral. US President Donald Trump has told reporters that his recent ultimatum to Moscow and promise of weapons for Kiev do not mean he's on Ukraine's side. What does it mean, man? I mean, in the ongoing conflict on Monday. Anyway, you tell me. He says, pressed by reporters on Tuesday, Trump insisted he is on nobody's side, and he still hopes to resolve the conflict through diplomacy. You know the side I'm on? Humanity side. That's a lie. I tell you why it's a lie. What, meow? What? I tell you why that's a lie. If he were on the humanity's side, he would do something about Gaza. The right thing about Gaza. Meow is all around here. But he's not. He provides the other side weapons and support to kill the guys in Gaza. So he's not on the right of humanity. A lot of children are killed in Gaza as I'm blabbling here. So, no, he's not. That's a lie. So this is the guy, and he's the president. Now, I don't know about you, but if democracy is the best system by which we can get governed, then how in the hell we allow this kind of liars? That the good system of democracy allows these guys to be in charge supposedly on us, or we hire them to be in charge of us. How? That tells me either the system is not applied rightly, that means there is some problems over there of corruption and the system was corrupted, or the system, if it's not corrupted, the system, that means the system is very flawed. We can tweak it a little bit. You don't vote, you're an imbecile, you vote half a vote, you vote no? Oh, okay. Then we're going to end up with people like Trump, people like, what's his name, Macron. I was about to go to Starmer. Starmer is unelected. All right? To Macron. These are the guys in charge of us. Do you think these are the creme de la creme? Have you ever met someone smarter than these guys, or at least more honest? Now, if the system promotes this kind of people and they get in power, because they're in power, they are ruling over us, they're not our representatives, then what kind of system is that? And he's telling us, I'm on the humanity side. Okay, then tell those fuckers in the Middle East to stop killing the Palestinians and the children. Why don't you do that? That tells you that he's not. He's a liar double again. And he's neutral. I'm going to show you how neutral he is. I want to stop the killing of thousands of people a week. Or there you go. I want to stop the killing. I want the killing to stop in the Ukraine-Russia war. Okay, what about the other ones? That's the side I'm on. That's the side I'm on. I've solved a lot of wars in the last 3 months, but I haven't gotten this one yet. This is Biden war. It's not a Trump war. I'm here to try to get us out of that mess. If I read that in a funny way or jokingly, I would say that's funny. If he's serious about that, I think it's a mental problem out there. I think that is a mental problem. It is hyper narcissism with hyper inflated ego to a big dose of how do you call that? Not reality, delusion. This guy is deluded if he really believes what he says. But if he's not believing what he says, that means he's lying. He pulls up our legs. What's going on? Our legs, kiki. What the hell? And this is in charge of us. How could a system allow this kind of people to be representing our interest? Do you think he represents your interest? If he does, okay, well, he doesn't represent mine. But he said he will. He didn't say anything what he's doing right now. He didn't say that. He didn't say he's going to do that. But I knew he would. Anyway, and let me show you how neutral he is. This is an article from today. Kremlin officials say Trump's demands are unacceptable. What demands? Well, Trump told only the Russians that I will give weapons to the other side, that I'm neutral. The other side will hit you with our satellites and everything else. I'm neutral, remember? And you got 50 days. Only you have 50 days, not the other ones. Only you have 50 days, but I'm neutral, to agree to my terms, which is you do, I don't know exactly what, stop the killing because I love humanity. Now, does that sound to you as neutral? If it's too hard, and I don't think it's too hard, put that in a easy context. You fight with another guy and comes the third one. And the third one tells you to stop, only you, and goes to the other side and gives him weapons. And he says, I'm neutral. I mean, I don't have to go this low, do I? And let me show you another perspective. President Donald Trump says Zelensky should not target Moscow with strikes. But you are neutral. And you say, well, see, Emil, he warns two sides. No, what do you mean? And I'm not done. Let me show you another one. Zelensky should not target Moscow. Well, if you're neutral, how can you tell this guy that? Trump tells Zelensky not to attack Moscow. And the last one, Ukraine Forum, what's the title? Trump, missiles for Patriot systems already being shipped to Ukraine. Why not to Gaza? Why not to the Palestinians? Why not to the Russians? If you know what I mean? Missiles for Patriot systems are already being shipped to Ukraine. Why? Oh, they have Patriot systems? What about the other guys? You said it's Biden's war. You could stop it. You could walk away. But you don't walk away. Why? Because it's your war. Let me tell you how I made it up to be their war. I have to bring you to 1991. The collapse of the Soviet Union. And the Soviet Union collapsed because some people from within Soviet Union and from outside worked and agreed USSR should collapse and change. And some investors from outside have to take control of the Russian resources, of the Russian people's natural resources, and they did. And then remember, NATO said in 1991, I can tell you the names. His name is James Baker. He was a Secretary of State of the United States of America, which is foreign minister. He told Gorbachev and what's his name? Shevardnadze. Shevardnadze is Georgian, by the way, like Stalin. Shevardnadze was the foreign minister of the Russian Federation at that time. He told them in a meeting and others that if Soviet Union agrees, if it doesn't agree, then we're not going to do it, they made a deal with the unification of the Germans, Western German, Eastern German unification, then if they agree, then NATO will not move eastward towards Russia 1 inch. And the Soviets said, yes, okay, all right, divide. And the other guys lied. And then they moved towards east until they got to Russia's border. Estonia, if you want, now Finland is right there. Norway was already at the border. What's going on here? And now they want Ukraine. Now that's a national threat. That's an existential threat for the Russians if NATO brings weapons, offensive weapons in Ukraine to the borders. It makes the reaction time shorter for the Russians. That is, instead of I and you being here, you see, I can't reach you, all right? I have to step a little bit or jump or whatever and do it. Right now I just moved right here. But you don't punch me here because I am over there. You know what I mean? I just extended the arm. I can hit you. You cannot hit me. You're going to hit only this fist right here. So the Russia says you back off. Besides, in 1994, it was the Budapest in Hungary memorandum signed by the Americans and by the Russians and by the Ukrainians that Ukraine will remain a neutral country, unaligned militarily, not economically, with anybody. 2014, the government, democratically elected by the Ukrainians of Viktor Yanukovych, was overthrown with the help from outside. Democratic countries immediately recognized the new traitors, because if you overthrow a government with outside support, you are a traitor. And if the government is legitimate and democratically elected, you cannot support it. But that tells you who was behind this if they immediately recognize the traitors. So that's changed everything. Got it? And then they start killing the Russians in the East Ukraine and so on. And that is, you can smell left and right the presence of the United States of America. There were 12, I don't know if there's still 12 CIA bases in Ukraine. There were no KGB or SBE or SBU bases in Ukraine, were they? So they lied and they advanced and they came forward close to Russia to stab it. All right? They also broke the neutrality of Ukraine with the overthrowing of the Viktor Yanukovych government. So what are you talking about? We're neutral. That's how it started. And now you provide these guys with everything but official troops on the ground and nuclear weapons. Everything else is provided. Airplanes, what is not provided? Certain kind of airplanes, missiles, certain kind of missiles, tanks, certain kind of tanks. You provide with everything. And you say you're not involved? And you have generals planning attacks and you're not involved. I'm neutral. If you say that you are neutral until you are not neutral until I got office, Trump missiles or Patriot systems already being shipped to Ukraine. You're not neutral, because if you were neutral, you will not send anything to anybody. Or you should send the same amount to both and say, yourselves, the same and this is for humanity. My point is, my irritation is this guy is taken serious because he's doing the right job for the interest. He's taken serious by the mass media and all these analysts and experts put in front of you by the media operatives telling you, yeah, we should do this, we should do it. When they say Trump is a paranoid, narcissistic, delusional, hyperinflated baboon. That's what he is. Baboon. You like that? You like that? I don't like that. I don't think that in the past, 80 years, the United States of America should not have been anybody a president. Anybody. Those are weaklings. Maybe with one exception or two. Weaklings. Is this the product? I mean, you want to bake a cake and you put all the good ingredients and comes out as a shit? Something is wrong somewhere in the recipe. Let's read again. Or someone else, when I'm sleeping, adds to the recipe, which is corruption. What's going on here? I'm neutral. You're not neutral. You are the root cause. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.